school. And no, Lindsay, I do not. Well, maybe, I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to have my sound creepy, but I don't want to scare off our new students. So anyways, I'm from Winnemucca, Nevada. Came to Reno a while ago and went to undergrad at the university here and have been in Reno since I graduated from high school. Super excited to be up at the med school. Been at the med school for the last almost 6 years. The first 5, sorry, my family's in the background. For the first 5 years, I was involved with the curriculum. So I know quite a bit about what medical students go through. I sat through the first 2 years of the curriculum for the last 2 years. So, and I took some of the tests and pretended like I was a med student. And if I can do it, I know y'all can do it too. But you have some really great students here tonight from our wellness committee who are awesome. And I will just turn it back over to Tamara and the students. And it's really good to see you, Lourdes, Zoe, and Bailey. Welcome.
You're muted, Tamara.
So thank you, Dr. Janes. For those of you who are wondering, Dr. Janes inadvertently turned on some kind of a special effect and sounded like a pretty creepy person there for the first part of our call before all of you joined us. So we're glad you got to hear her normal voice and all of that. So at this stage, I also wanted to acknowledge that Lindsay is here. Lindsay is our outreach and recruitment coordinator here in the Office of Admissions. The two of us were just here really to get things started, and we are going to turn this event over to our medical students. We want you to feel comfortable asking any questions. They are going to provide you with some opportunity to get to know each other, but most especially to understand what's ahead of you. You've all heard the stories about how stressful medical school can be, and we don't want to sugarcoat it, but we also want you to know that when stress happens, there are resources here that are available to support you and guide you, help you maintain a healthy a wellness regime that helps you be able to be successful as a medical student. So let me pass this over to your official host, Tari Chadwick, and let our students take it from there. Have a wonderful evening together. Thanks.
Hi, guys. I'm Tari, just like Tamara said. I think we'll just go ahead and get started unless we wanted to wait any longer. It's been 10 minutes, but we can admit people in if they come a little late or not. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. We have a little PowerPoint that we put together. Hold on one second. Okay, is everybody seeing the presentation? Yeah, I got a thumbs up, good. Okay, well, I'll just start. Hi, welcome to your second look on wellness and the medical school and our wellness program here. My name's Tari Chadwick. I am a first-year medical student. I am from Las Vegas, and I'm actually a non-traditional student. So I got my first degree in theater production at a school out in Chicago. And then I moved back to Vegas. That's where my family's from. I moved back there and then got my second degree in biology before coming up here. And yeah, that's me. We'll pass it on to the next wellness committee member.
Hi, my name is Nancy Lee. I'm a second-year medical student. I am originally, I was born in Vietnam, and I moved to the US when I was like about 7 or 8, straight to Las Vegas, and has been there ever since until med school came along, and I moved up here to Reno. I went to UNLV for undergraduate, and I majored in biology with a double minor in neuroscience and psychology. So I'm excited to meet you all today. Now go ahead and pass it on to Pascal.
Yeah, so hi guys, my name is Pascal Nilsson. I'm a third year Was born and raised in Vegas, went to UNLV for undergrad, majored in bio, and then got a minor in like psychology. And then I just moved up here for med school. And yeah, so that's pretty much my whole story. It was a pretty straight shot for me. I wasn't like a non-traditional student. But I did take like a gap year before medical school started and sort of experienced real life outside of school for a little bit. And I learned a lot through that as well. And I'll let Mario finish it off.
Hey guys, so I'm Mario. I'm a 4th year. I too did my undergrad at UNLV. I was born in California, but moved to Vegas when I was pretty young. And I got my degree in biochemistry. And then I did a post-bac program through Nevada State College and UNR Med. So a little untraditional route, but it ended up going good for me. So yeah, I'm in my last year.
Okay, so we wanted to kind of start this night off just breaking the ice. Like it's gonna be super chill, really laid back. You know, let's have some fun. Let's see, there we go. So there's only the 3 of you. We were going to use another program called Icebreaker, which would put us into a web page and then break us out into rooms. But how do you guys feel about just talking in this small group and answering some icebreaker questions just all together? I can't really see everybody. I got a thumbs up. Is that okay with you, Zoe and Bailey? Cool. All right. Let me find. Oh, no, here we go. Okay. And then the other wellness committee members can talk as well. So it's not just the 3 of you. So so the Icebreaker website puts you into rooms and it comes up with these just generated questions that you're supposed to answer in a one-on-one situation with someone you don't know. So some of them are just kind of funny questions. Some of them are just like get to know you questions. And I'm just going to scroll through their list and pick the first one I stop on. And the first one is, what's your favorite kitchen utensil?
Chopsticks, does that count?
Yeah, it does. Anybody else? Is there?
I don't know if it counts as like a kitchen utensil, but like I have like a coffee bean grinder, like one of those automatic ones. I also have like the manual one, but that's like more of a workout. So I don't really do that one frequently. It's got to be one of those though.
That's fancy.
Yeah, I don't know. I know a tool that is probably a one-trick pony, but it's really cool. If you like pineapple, there's a pineapple slicer. It's like you screw it into the pineapple.
Leadership positions. So like president, vice president. There's a bunch of other committees that sort of people apply to in the beginning of the school year. And you write just like basically a short essay or something that you tells your class why you think you would be a good fit for the position. And then hopefully they elect you and they think that you're good for the role. It's a 4-year commitment. And you get a lot of great leadership experience out of it. And I think it's really rewarding and fulfilling. So there wasn't really any other things that I applied to at that time. And basically, our committee can be broken up into different subcommittees. So there's awareness, integration, family/community involvement. Those are the 3 main like subcommittees. It's just easier so that we can collaborate and break down the different tasks. And basically what you'll see is that we have a pretty comprehensive strategy, for tackling wellness and well-being at our school. And we use these subcommittees to get that job done. So the awareness subcommittee is really focused on mental health awareness along with other health and well-being awareness events. So every month there's multiple events, basically like monthly initiatives that those committee members like bring to the light of our school. So like, for example, there's like National Nutrition Month, there's a Mental Health Awareness Month, along with like other national and like internationally recognized days focused around health. And they do like a wide variety of events to sort of highlight those things. And that's really just helpful because when you're going through school, sometimes it's easy to push all of these things aside and you don't really realize the world going on around you unless people start bringing it into focus for you. The integration committee, I think the easiest way to describe it is that there are certain needs that need to be met at the school. There are certain, areas that we think we can always improve on. So people come to us with ideas, or wellness committee members, we have planning events throughout the year to sort of see where we can improve well-being at our school. And our goal is to create, a very well thought out plan to integrate that into our school on a day-to-day basis, including changes to the curriculum, scheduling of exams, and things like that. So we're really like a hub for students who are feeling that we need to have more resources, or feeling that, there's too much stress in one particular aspect. Really, we like to be open to all sorts of feedback from our classmates, and they can come to us and know that we're not really going to be biased. We're going to be on their side and trying to make sure everyone feels like they're cared for and has support. The family and community involvement one, I think one of the other committee members will talk about this in more depth, but we actually have a couple of different ways that we include the families of our medical students. For a lot of people that aren't from Reno, you're leaving your family behind, and it's kind of nice to make them feel more involved. It shouldn't really always be up to you to like let them know of when your next exam is, or these other big events that are going on. So there's ways that we've tried to like reach out to families and get the community more involved, so that we're all like in one tight-knit community, along with creating like family-friendly events that take place like on campus or a little off campus as well. And that really just helps like integrate the families with the actual UNR Med community as well. So those have been some pretty big initiatives that we've been focusing on this past year, almost 2 years now. And it probably doesn't shock you, but we need to have money to get those things done. So we are allocated a budget every year. So we basically write to UNR in general, and they supply those funds to us so that we can have all the supplies and resources we need to get these events put together, so that none of it is really put on the students, because you really shouldn't have to be paying for your wellness. Yeah, so that's sort of a pretty big part of it as well. And really the events, or what I would say the goals of the wellness committee is to be a resource for students, a resource and a support structure for students. So we interact really well with faculty. We are one of the committees that is really integrated with faculty. You met Brady Janes, and there's a couple of other people who weren't in on the original call, but they're highly integrated with wellness and well-being at our school. And so we talk to them on like a daily and weekly basis to get a general census of the class and figure out what ways we can improve each individual class. So we're really here for you guys and ourselves. And it's all about like building the morale and making sure that we're all well supported. And that's about it.
Cool. So there's been a lot of presentations or things that you guys have attended probably for UNR Med, and they sometimes get feedback from you guys as to kind of like what are some of the most important things for you all in regards to choosing UNR Med as your school. And so some of the topics that are kind of reoccurring are things about community, the learning that's going to take place, clinical opportunities, the student outreach clinic or SOC and service opportunities, and just Reno overall. So in regards to the community, I think that's probably one of the biggest draws, or why I thought UNR Med was going to be a good fit, is because the class size is so small. It's only 70 people per class, which is not the norm. I've had friends that have like 150 per class. Like, it's crazy. There's some that have like over 200. So it's, yeah, 70 per class is pretty awesome. Also, we're the oldest school in the state. We've been open for more than 50 years. And so with that, it comes with a lot of professors and physicians that work with our school that actually attended med school at Reno. And so there's a lot of community built around the actual faculty and physicians that you're going to be working with because they're familiar with the school. And it's cool to have that connection to the school and the town itself. And I think that the school, since it has been the main one in the state of Nevada for so long, that they really integrated well into some of the major hospital groups, some of the smaller clinics, and kind of different humanitarians or social aspects in the city. So that's good for community. And then for learning, basically there's block scheduling. And so they split up the first 2 years of med school into these kind of blocks of periods of times. And during those blocks, you're covering different organ systems. So usually the way that the curriculum has usually been set up is where they would do everything quote unquote normal in your first year and then abnormal in your second year. But what they're starting to do is they're trying to kind of meld this together. And what's really great is that they take feedback from the students into consideration and make changes on the different teaching styles that they do. So they adjust the curriculum as needed. For clinicals, so another thing that's kind of unique to UNR that I don't think is at every school is that in your first year, you get to start working with a quote unquote preceptor. So it's just basically a physician you're watching over you and basically assisting you with the work. And you start that in your first year. So you actually get clinical hands-on experience, kind of the whole reason why we got into med school to begin with. You get to start doing that within your first year. And you can put in your preferences. You can say that you're interested in psychiatry or you're interested in surgery, and they try to pair you up with someone that's in the field that you're interested in, and especially during second year. So even second year, you get to do this as well. All of your core rotations for third year are going to take place in Reno. So you have OB-GYN, family med, internal med. You have like a certain set of different things that everyone has to do. And so all of that takes place in your third year. And everything is in pretty local distance, be like 15, 20 minutes max between hospitals or anywhere that you would really be traveling. There are some sites that are a little like spread out, but they tend to not put people there unless they request it. Also, there's a real good mix of working for private hospitals, public hospitals, the academic setting. So it's really good to get exposure to all these different areas to kind of see when you were working, what kind of group or what kind of practice you want to work for. And then also Renown is the main hospital group that's in Reno. And we've actually gained an official affiliation with them. So with that is going to potentially come more residency options. And it's just going to make the connection between the hospital and the school that much better and give us more opportunities as students. For the SOC, your student outreach clinic and service opportunities. So the student outreach clinic is a student-run clinic that only the students do. And then we have some attending physicians that are there, obviously, to assist with, signing off and giving medication and stuff. But really, all of the students do all of the work, from management to recruiting to training, everything. And they do it in different areas. So I did mine with geriatrics. Some people do pediatrics. You can do women's health. They have it in all areas. And you can start volunteering with that in the first week of med school. So you can be fresh in med school and start working in a clinic. So it's pretty cool. And we also, if the SOC or the Student Outreach Clinic isn't your thing, we do have a lot of partnerships with like Ronald McDonald. There's a Hopes Clinic, which is another kind of nonprofit free clinic in our area. We work with a lot of the local middle schools and high schools. So there's other opportunities too. And then Reno itself. So I actually started undergrad way back when in Reno, and a lot of things have changed since then. So it is a much bigger city, and there's a lot of things available there that maybe you wouldn't have thought originally. So it's definitely growing. And I think there's a good mix of that city feel and kind of outdoorsy and that kind of vibe as well. So there's lots of hiking, climbing in the area. There's a river that actually runs right through the middle of the city, the Truckee River, and you have to float that. You have to get a floaty of some kind. We usually use air mattresses. You have to do it. And even my fellow wellness committee members, if I graduate and you guys haven't done it, I'm going to take you down the river. So you have to do that. It's awesome. And then if you guys are from Vegas, I forget what schools you guys said you're from. They do have like Circus Circus. So if I ever got a little homesick, I would always go to Circus Circus, and it looks pretty similar to the one in Vegas so that you can get kind of that home feeling away from home. And there's kind of like a cool artsy scene that's near the downtown area that has a lot of really good restaurants. And you can also get to Tahoe pretty easily, which is in that photo there of the water. It's super nice. It's only like 40 minutes away. And then San Fran is also only about 3.5 hour drive. So there's some stuff that's close by that's pretty cool too.
Did you guys say where you were from? Where are you from?
Go ahead.
You want to
Oh,
go first? Okay.
So I'm from Reno. So I did my undergrad here at UNR, and then I also did a postbac year here too.
So I'm currently in Ann Arbor because I go to University of Michigan. When I was when I was growing up, I was kind of all over the Owens Valley, like kind of close to the Carson Valley. And then my dad moved to Vegas, and my mom lives in a town called Bishop, which is in the Owens Valley.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about what we do and the events that we host as the Wellness Committee. We try and do well, at least this year, the first years have been, I can only speak to what we did this year because I'm a first year, but, and any of the other Wellness Committee can speak up if they want to. But this year we've been trying to do an event a month. And I think we're really pushing for it right now just because of the distance and COVID and not being able to be in person and face to face. So we've been really adamant. The first year medical wellness, the first year students have been adamant about trying to keep up with an event a month. But in the past, in previous years, they've done a lot of really cool events that I hope we can bring back either at the end of this year or next year. But things like they've done paint nights, they've done like pottery nights where you decorate your own coffee mug. They did this really cool, I don't know if you guys have seen the show Chopped, but they did this really cool Chopped event where the Wellness Committee hosted it and bought all the ingredients, supplied all the cooking utensils, and then bought a few secret ingredients that the teams had to use. And then they'd get like faculty to judge the dish. So that was fun. We've also done a yearly talent show, which I think is judged by faculty as well. And then they've done pumpkin carving around Halloween time. They try and do it, well, right now too, we've been trying to do like monthly themed events. So around Halloween time, the pumpkin carving, and then around like Valentine's Day, they did last year, I think they did this thing where they cut out paper hearts and then put them on the tape them on the wall of the main building that we study in, and every person's name was written on a paper heart, and then all your classmates or anybody from any year could come up and write on the paper heart like words of encouragement or hey, you're really cool or whatever, you know. And then at the end of the week you get to take home your paper heart with all these really awesome things people are saying about you on it, which it's really nice. I hope we can do a version of that this year too. We'll see. But we have a ping pong table in our student lounge, so they've done ping pong tournaments in the past. We've also done some fitness related activities like hiking and 5Ks for charity and things like that. And then another cool thing that they've done in the past is bring in therapy dogs during really busy study weeks. So then as you're studying, you can take a little break and go get some cuddles from a cute puppy. Everyone's really big on dogs here, so if you like dogs, you're welcome. And then specifically during this year, during COVID, like I said, we've been trying to do an event a month, and what we've done is that the first year, every class has a executive committee, which is like the president and the vice president and everybody like that, and a curriculum committee. And they'll send out, the first years have been sending out a survey to the class. And then in that survey, there's a wellness portion to it that just kind of addresses what maybe you're struggling with wellness wise, physical, mental, emotional, whatever. And then we, the wellness committee, will take that and try and incorporate what we see that the needs are. So a lot of people are feeling very isolated right now, which is why we've been trying to do these virtual events. And then we've also heard that our school gym closed down. So some people were worried about their fitness and staying active. So we started this new fitness program where your fellow classmates might be good at yoga and feel comfortable teaching a yoga class. So then we schedule a yoga class and anybody can log on for free and take the yoga class. And that was brand new this month, and we hope to keep it going. So it's like a fitness program for UNR Med students, run by UNR Med students, just kind of a way to stay active and see your friends. We've been doing virtual movie nights, just little things like that to try and keep the connection there. And what else? We do some charity. So over the holiday, we've been doing, this year we did a food drive, and we did this angel tree where you donate, you take donations to a family through Salvation Army, I think it is. And then the other one that we have incorporated this year, we did our one event so far. We're gonna do another one in like February or March, I think. But we called it the Big Talk, and it's basically like a group therapy session without any faculty. So we got on to Zoom, of course, because we can't be in person, but we got onto Zoom and people submitted topics that they were concerned about or that they wanted to address. And we just kind of broke up into breakout rooms, first years with fourth years and second years all mixed in, and just went through, how everybody was feeling, and it talked about what they're dealing with, what they're going through, how they're handling it, just kind of showing support for your classmates and talking through issues you might have. So we did that, and we hope to keep that going as well. And then the last thing on here, the family and friends involvement, I'm going to let Nantu talk a little bit about it because she started this family and friends newsletter, so she can tell you a little bit more about that. But we're just trying to create an environment that you need support as a social support as a medical student from the people who are closest to you. And we're trying to build that bridge that allows those people to understand what you're going through as a medical student and how best to support you. And we're just trying to get them involved more. So we'll try and do some more group activities like the movie night. We told people they could invite their significant others, their family and friends, whoever they wanted. So things like that. Yeah, so we do a lot of events. We're very busy. And then I'll turn it over to Nantu, right?
Yeah. So as we're going through this whole pandemic and going through remote learning and everything, UNR has provided us with a lot of support to guide us through and traverse the waters. And this is all very anxiety inducing, for a lot of people, and a lot of us don't really know exactly what's going to happen tomorrow or in a couple of months. So UNR Med has actually done a lot since the beginning of the pandemic to support us along the way, whether it's curriculum based or if it's volunteer based or clinical activities and opportunities being shut down. So they've created a couple of new opportunities for us, allowing us to volunteer with the Washoe County Health District to help with whatever that is going on at the moment. So at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a lot of need for testing. So a lot of us were allowed to participate in swabbing of patients in the Reno community, or we can help out with the call center. And we would triage patients who ever needed tests for under Washoe County. There's also a lot of research opportunities that has arisen with this whole COVID thing. The Office of UNR Med Research, they have created a lot of COVID research, and they're still currently going on right now. So they're constantly creating research opportunities for us, even though our research opportunities over the summer have been canceled and we can no longer travel. They have made new opportunities for us to participate in and still be able to get that experience. We have transitioned into online learning. There was a period of time where we did a little bit of hybrid for a little bit, but we learned that it was not the most fair opportunity for everyone. So they just completely transitioned to online learning, save for some activities like we will have PALM and ACS, and those are activities where we will learn clinical skills and clinical maneuvers and exams, and we'll have to see standardized patients for that. So we will be in person for that, but everything else, like lectures, will be online. Another thing that's really cool about UNR is that they've managed to find a way for us to be in anatomy lab. So that was really, really cool. And they pretty much found a nice system for us to be together and come together and still have our hands-on learning. So I really liked that part because that was pretty much my favorite part of first year. It was the anatomy lab. That was probably like the best experience I've had in terms of like learning. For pre and post exam, we also do a lot of support on that. So there's always, with a lot of stress that's been induced with this pandemic, other people's families, students' families are affected, families and friends are affected. So a lot of times the faculty and admin has been really responsive to that and very understanding of these situations that might arise with it. And a lot of times they'll provide a lot of support. You're always welcome to contact right now for us, it's Dr. Brady James, but whoever is in charge of your curriculum at that point, your block at that point, and you'll be able to tell them what's going on and maybe also find alternative ways to catch up on your learning. And a lot of times they'll give out like small little treats. I know we were able to do it as well as UNR Med Wellness. We were able to buy a lot of treats and things like that and set it out on the table in the lobby in the building. And if whoever is taking the exam in that time, they can come out and get a treat to help reboost your brain and give your brain some glucose. So that was really cool. Another thing is that for us, we are called the Learning Wellness Resource Center. So we have been able to provide the Big Talk event as one of the mental health services that we're offering, but we're also offering or promoting a lot from the UNR mental health services, and we're engaging with them to be able to provide and get people the care that they need in that sort of area. With this one, the family support and student newsletter, So there's two different newsletters that has come about with this time. The family newsletter is something that we recently created with a family member of one of the med students here. So the family member was able to partake in wellness, and they helped me create a family newsletter that's being sent out monthly to the family to update their families on what is going on with the student, give them a student highlight, offer other people ways to decompress and stress, and how to handle stress and things like that. The other newsletter would be the student newsletter, which is sent out by the admin to update us as medical students on what's going on with us, announcements that they need to make, availabilities with PPE, if, for example, or what we need to do in order to get involved with certain activities or things like that. It's just announcements, and it's being sent out weekly. So we're constantly being announced with new things that are being popping up. So that's really awesome. And lastly would be the faculty, who's been super supportive. A lot of the admin are very understanding of the special circumstances that we have to go through. So they are very open to listening to everyone and anyone. And so we can reach out to them by phone, by email, and a lot of times they would answer right away, and they're very responsive with that. So that has always been a very big thing. Even before COVID, they've always been very supportive of us. And then that's mainly for the first and second years so far with all of the support that they've had given us. I'll have Pascal talk a little bit about how they've been supporting third years and fourth years on the clinical rotations and how that's been changed.
Yeah, so I think that's like a big concern with people is, just how are schools reacting to COVID? It's the same thing when we're looking for residencies. How are residencies treating their students when in their reaction to COVID? So for our clinical rotations, we basically, there was a period of time where there just wasn't a lot of information on, how infectious COVID was. There wasn't a lot of good numbers coming out. Testing wasn't, adequate nationwide. So basically our school erred on the side of caution for our students. And once they made the decision that, okay, we need to emphasize protecting our students more than we need to emphasize, just putting their lives at risk to see like more patients, which they'll get to see plenty of during their fourth year anyway. So there was a period of months where students were pulled from a majority of rotations just because, the risks were too high because you couldn't guarantee that people did or did not have COVID at that time. And there just was too much that wasn't really known. So during that time, they actually formulated some online rotations as well. And they're still actually being updated at this point. So they're actually even more comprehensive than they were a few months ago. But basically, yeah, they created these like comprehensive online, like virtual rotations, I guess you could say. And a lot of it had to do with like telemedicine as well. So, through Zoom and other ways, you can still interact with patients. And believe it or not, a lot of outpatient services just do a lot of telemedicine anyway. So there was still the opportunities to get patient interactions, along with supplementing a lot of that learning with like these virtual experiences, which are still being offered, for some of the more difficult to obtain rotations. So that was actually really well received because one, you're able to graduate on time because you're actually able to achieve clinical credits through those. They have to be approved. Schools can't just create them and send all their students away without seeing patients. And then on top of it, the students got to feel safe and know that, our faculty wasn't putting them at more risk than they needed to. And on top of it, people got to study a lot more, what you'll find is a lot of medicine in general is self-directed learning. It really is. You can have, there's a lot of great teachers here, and there's a lot of great attendings who will teach you tricks and tips and things along the way. But learning how to teach yourself in a way that you understand it best is really important. So people actually had a lot of time to do that themselves. So yeah, that's all I'd really say about the way clinical rotations are for now. So I'm a third year now, and we're wrapping up here in a few months for my year. Basically, we are held at a higher standard of, safety. So every attending knows that we are not supposed to see COVID patients. Even though we have like full PPE, we have supply. I just picked up like 2 N95s today when I was walking out of the hospital for free. So we have plenty of supply for PPE. And we always wear goggles and like N95s when we have our patient interactions. And all of the hospitals and clinics are obviously implementing the appropriate social distancing and things like that. So I feel really well supported, and I feel very safe, when I'm in the hospital, which is really what's most important, because just seeing an additional patient isn't the most important goal. It's to make sure that I can continue on with the rest of my clinical learning. So I actually feel really well supported and safe in that way.
What's also something that's kind of cool, it's just a toot, UNR started offering us COVID vaccines. So we're really excited about that. Everyone so far has been able to have the opportunity to receive them if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think a lot of our classes have already gotten their second dose. I still have like a week and a half before I get my second dose, but a lot of the classmates and the years above us have already fully gotten it, along with, I would say, like 95% of all the attendings that we have, they've already been fully vaccinated as well.
So we were going to play another little intermission game. Are you guys up for it? Yeah. Okay. You can, if you need to use the restroom or anything, now's the time to do that too. So just a little break, little fun. We're gonna do a scavenger hunt. So let me find, here it is. Okay. So we're gonna just tell you to go find something, and you have to find it in your house or wherever you are, just something that matches the prompt. Okay, so you'll have like 20 seconds to run and find your thing, and then we'll come back and show each other.
Yeah,
Are we doing this too?
Yeah, there's only 6
Okay.
of us in here, so yes.
All right. The person who gets the best one wins, I guess.
Oh, hold on, I'm gonna
be timing it.
let me do that. So I had to find my people, I guess, and I have found them, and I think I've built a strong relationship with them, and so we'll either study together, or on the weekends we'll hang out safely in COVID times together. But if you can do that, come in and find out who you jive with study wise, and really create that bond. That helps a lot, I think. But on the other end, like I have all these friends that aren't here in Reno with me. So you can see in the center at the top, we've had like a few Zoom encounters. They had like a Zoom dance party and a Zoom movie night, and just kind of making sure we connect, still stay together and connect. I'm also a big fan of being outside and getting fresh air. So that's what that other top corner is. And we're here in Reno, and there's so many areas that are just so beautiful to be around. So if you can get out, it's 20 minutes drive, it's right there. Just get out and go for a walk. Go on the lake, get some fresh air. You can make time for it. The other thing, I have a theater background, as I think I already mentioned. So I try to keep those roots, just like I said, like part of my habits from before. I just, I try to still stay connected to that, because I know that's a big part of my life. And then the last thing that I just wanted to mention is, like, we are sitting at our computers for so many hours a day. I have found that like putting plants near my computer, or doing the little sticky note you can see in that picture, just kind of like words of encouragement or fresh greenery nearby, kind of help lightens up my study area and keeps me going. So those are kind of some of the things I do for wellness. And now Nancy can go.
So you can probably just assume that I really like dogs on here. Most of these dogs pictures are not mine, so I enjoy anyone's dogs, and I will go up and hug them and give them love and kisses. So a lot of these dogs are my friends' dogs. The one in the middle, the black dog staring out the window, that one is actually mine, from in Vietnam, and I did not get to bring her here, so I miss her very much. But my family does send me a lot of videos and pictures of her from time to time. And that's another thing that I often do. I talk to my family a lot, just to make sure they're okay, check in on them, and just, you know, they check in on me too. Other things that I like to do for my wellness, I love doing puzzles, jigsaw puzzles. I started collecting Disney jigsaw puzzles, so I've been doing a lot of those, and those are really big, and I go all out with them. I would go frame them and everything, and sign them. Other things would be like, I love to eat. I love ramen. Ramen is my favorite type of food. But I also really like drunken noodles from the Thai restaurants. Yes, Jinya is really good too. I recently became a plant mom. So those are my two little babies there. The bottom one is CC. The top one is, there's two in there. That's Winn-Dixie. And they're doing well. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Pascal.
Okay, so I like coffee. Coffee is my life. Wake up in the morning, drink coffee. Afternoon hits, coffee. So I just really enjoy it. I find it that it's like kind of calms me actually, just because I really like the taste, and I enjoy like actually sitting down and enjoying like 10 or 15 minutes like to calm down and relax and just sip on some coffee, maybe pair it with some chocolate if I really feel like I need to relax. But as far as exercise go, I really go to the UNR gym frequently. I live on campus, so it's like a 3 or 5 minute walk. And our gym is beautiful. If you haven't seen any pictures, I highly encourage you to look it up. I think that's like actually probably one of the really great things about this campus. And then in the upper right-hand corner, we have like the UNR quad. So it's just like this huge, long, tree-filled area with like a field. There's like a nearby small lake and fountain, and it's just really like a really beautiful place to kind of walk through. You can run. A lot of people like run and do exercises there. And so sometimes I'll take a walk all the way down there and kind of just sit and enjoy like the environment, and, you know, have some time alone. Ping pong is a big thing in my class. Ping pong champ 2018. So do that frequently when I can. You already saw that I like Steve Martin. I listen to stand-up comedy like when I'm just trying to relax, or if I'm doing chores and stuff like that. It's kind of just an extra thing. And then there's just a picture of me talking too much. So I'm probably going over time here anyway. But I find it's actually really important to kind of talk to your friends. You're going to have friends here that support you, but you're going to have your friends back home who support you in a different way. And then you have your family members who support you and understand you in a completely different way. And I think it's really important to actually reach out to all those different groups, you know, when you need to. And you probably will realize you need to do it more frequently than you used to, just because med school can be stressful. At the bottom is a thing called, so MBSR is mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is just a way that it's sort of similar to meditation in that it's all based around self-awareness and being in the present moment. And there's actually been a lot of studies showing that it's very beneficial for your mind to kind of calm yourself. So I try to do that on occasion as well.
Cool. So yeah, the picture below is Progresso. Hey, I'm Mario again. During my first and second year between that, you have a short summer break, and I got to go to Mexico for a month. I did clinical work out there, and I got to go to the beach. I love anything and everything water related. The bottom right is kind of my bucket list item, which it is coming into fruition. I will be a Yelp Elite member this year. It's happening. I've put it into fruition. Someone's already recommended me for Elite status. It's happening. And then the photo above that of the wings, it's from a place called Noble Pie in Reno, and they have the best wings. They're so good. You have to go. I don't know if you've already been, everyone else, but you got to go. And then YouTube, it's kind of a bad wellness technique for myself, but I love getting stuck in YouTube wormholes. So that's anything and everything, whether it's music, documentaries, conspiracy theories. I just love watching YouTube and getting lost for hours. And then games, I do game nights usually when I go back home to play with my family and friends. I have done it in Reno a few times too, and like poker night. And then the dog in the lower left-hand corner, like Nantu, I don't have my own dog, but I love dogs. And so this was at the animal shelter down in Vegas, but there is one in Reno too. And I've gone there too to just surround myself with the animals. So those are my wellness techniques.
And I would just wanted to add, like, I think when you get here, it's also important for your wellness to remember, do the things that remind you of why you're doing this. Like, I have found that sitting in front of a computer for 8 to 10 to 12, however many hours a day, if I don't go and volunteer at the SOC, or if I don't go and just give my time to like Renown or something like that, then it's really easy to forget why you're doing this. So when you get here, just get involved in that clinical aspect of things, because it makes you stop and remember why you're here. And I never regret my like 4 hours that I spent at the SOC. So I just wanted to say that because I think it's really important.
So that's all of our contact information. If you have any questions, you can reach out to any of us at any time. And this will be sent out so that you can have it. Besides that, I think we're gonna start doing questions now. And I think we'll stop the recording here.